Well, welcome to Launch CMU and the launch of the new Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship. It's great to see so many familiar faces and friends and members of our startup ecosystem here in Pittsburgh. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Dave Mowini, and I am a proud alum of Carnegie Mellon. And I hesitate to say it, but I'm also the proud alum parent of alums as well. So I'm getting a little bit old, long in the tooth, but I'm here to stay. So today is a momentous occasion for CMU. Today, we enter the new era of entrepreneurship with the launch of the Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship. And the first part of our program will celebrate Jim Schwartz's transformational gift to CMU. The second half of our program will focus on smart cities, and we'll have 6 lightning talks from the exciting research and companies that are going on here at CMU. But to kick things off today, I'd like to introduce an exciting new video about the Swartz Center.
Opportunity. It's out there. Through creativity, hard work, and soaring above the norm, you can seize it. You are an entrepreneur. Whether you're an undergrad, a graduate student, an alumnus, or a faculty member. The Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship at Carnegie Mellon University is your opportunity, your path to success, where you bring your ideas to market. Courses for credit at Carnegie Mellon are at the core of the ecosystem, supported by countless extracurricular programs, global resources, and networks that launch companies. Entrepreneurs jump into the Swartz Center ecosystem at any time to build a unique path and collide with ideas, creativity, and visionaries also striving for success. Consider a student. While attending Entrepreneurship Bootcamp, he learns about the Swartz Center Incubator, Project Olympus, giving him the opportunity to earn a Spark grant, which provides the capital needed to launch his startup. He then becomes a Swartz Fellow, a cohort program for entrepreneur training. Or a faculty member who, through the National Science Foundation I-Corps program, discovers how to commercialize her research, which then gains recognition at Launch CMU, the Swartz Center's public entrepreneur showcase of student, alumni, faculty, and staff. At the same time, her Ph.D. student earns additional funding by winning the McGinnis Venture Competition for CMU students and becomes an Innovation Fellow. An alum takes full advantage of the Swartz Center Connects workshops and gets mentoring from the entrepreneur in residence who suggests joining the I-Corps Site program. During this program, the alum learns about the Open Field Entrepreneurs Fund, which provides seed funding to recent alumni. For every entrepreneur, every research project, every business idea, our centralized ecosystem creates unique paths to learn, network, commercialize, invest, and launch the next great startup.
The Swartz Center is a great place because with all the resources at Carnegie Mellon, it's all being put under one roof, and that's amazing.
The quality programs at Carnegie Mellon, it's the people, it's the fact they interact with each other, it's the fact that there is this more community spirit here that's really important and really helpful in starting businesses.
Students and faculty are really able to come together and share their thoughts and opinions and experiences regarding entrepreneurship. Different seminars that were free and open to anyone on campus was incredibly helpful to me.
Everybody has an extracurricular activity that they enjoy and that they're really passionate about, and they sort of combine their passion with their major, and that is exactly what is necessary to be a successful entrepreneur.
The Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship at Carnegie Mellon University.
We have very lofty goals for the Swartz Center. Our first is to be the destination of choice for aspiring entrepreneurs, both students and faculty. In other words, we aspire to be the best. Our second is to create more valuable companies from the great research and ideas that happen at CMU. I always joke, Stanford has Google, Harvard has Facebook, Carnegie Mellon has, right? And if we strive to create that blockbuster company that everybody associates with CMU, we'll create dozens, if not hundreds of other great companies along the way. And finally, we will leverage the 100,000 strong living alumni that we have at Carnegie Mellon. If you're an alum, I ask you to be a customer, a supplier, a mentor, or an investor in another CMU company. There are 30 of those companies here today. Please go connect with them. Now it is my great honor to introduce CMU Provost Farnam Jahanian. who has been instrumental in making the Swartz Center a reality. Farnam?
Thank you very much, Dave. Good afternoon. And a warm welcome to all of you who have gathered here to celebrate the launch of the Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship. This is going to be a hub for campus-wide entrepreneurial activities made possible by a generous gift from our alumnus, Jim Swartz. Jim, welcome back. And thank you for your passion, for everything you've done for Carnegie Mellon and for entrepreneurship at Carnegie Mellon. We are so pleased to be launching the Swartz Center in conjunction with Launch CMU, an event that exemplifies what's possible when top talent generates and pursues groundbreaking ideas in a nurturing environment. I want to acknowledge a couple of folks. First of all, the exceptional leadership of course, several people at the Swartz Center. Dave Mooney, our executive director, and Lenore Blum and John Kagan, the two faculty co-directors. Thank you very much. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to academic leadership and university leadership, including Dean Bob Damon and Dean Andrew Moore, who serve as co-chairs of the Swartz Center Steering Committee, along with other members of the steering committee who are present this evening. Finally, I would like to welcome Peter Stern and Miles Reddy, two members of the newly, just announced today, Swartz Center Advisory Board here tonight. The advisory board consists of 12 successful entrepreneurs with connections to Carnegie Mellon. We thank these leaders for their willingness to provide their counsel and their passion for enhancing the culture of entrepreneurship. Please join me in thanking their leadership. You know, it is so fitting that we're celebrating entrepreneurship, and it's taking place just a couple of weeks after the White House Frontiers Conference that was held here in Pittsburgh and at Carnegie Mellon, when President Obama and nearly 500 thought leaders from across the country came to Pittsburgh to discuss science, technology, and innovation. As all of us recognize, our national identity is synonymous with discovery and entrepreneurship. We need to recognize the changing role of universities, not only as originators and keepers of knowledge, but also as engines for discovery and innovation. In fact, universities increasingly are playing a central role in the innovation ecosystem, driving regional and national economic growth, and in turn, economic development and societal needs drive and shape a university's research and academic mission in a virtual cycle. The vision for the Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship is to amplify our position within this ecosystem, to become the academic destination for faculty and students seeking a culture of entrepreneurship and opportunities to learn, conceive, collaborate, launch, and lead in new endeavors. To my colleagues here, it's not a surprise when I say with our top-ranked schools in engineering, in computer science, in business, in information systems, in policy, Carnegie Mellon embraces interdisciplinary work as a place for early pioneering work in artificial intelligence that started here almost 50 years ago. We're now leading in the development of emerging areas such as robotics, autonomous vehicles, cybersecurity, data analytics, technology-enhanced learning, new materials, and 3D printing, just to name a few. It should come as no surprise that CMU has become one of the fastest-growing entrepreneurial ecosystems in the world. Consider that in the last 5 years, CMU has generated 1,400 invention disclosures, 1,000 patents, 880 licenses and options and other agreements, and in total more than 200 companies that have been started by our students, faculty, and alum. When it comes to students, indeed, it seems that no matter what college they're in, students come to CMU seeking to make a difference in society, whether through startups, new companies, or social entrepreneurship. And they want the tools to succeed. We also have this energy and excitement from many of our faculty, young and more senior faculty. In fact, most of our new faculty, early career faculty, expect to develop new technologies and engage in startup ventures as part of their academic career. It's part of their DNA. Thanks to Jim's generous gift, we will enhance CMU's entrepreneurship infrastructure and bring our diverse slate of programs and resources to entrepreneurship under the Swartz Center umbrella. Our pathway for entrepreneurship includes cross-disciplinary courses and degrees, including a newly launched minor in entrepreneurship that's available to all students across the entire university, regardless of their major, regardless of their degree. And that complements, of course, our MBA track in entrepreneurship. Networking and funding opportunities such as Launch CMU and gap funding for student and faculty and alum. New mentoring initiatives such as the Entrepreneurship in Residence program. And experiential learning programs that take students out of classroom and into real startup enterprises, including the James R. Schwartz Fellows Program. This program, in fact, has been nurturing talented student innovators since 2005. And we're thrilled to have the current class of Schwartz Fellows here with us, as well as several Schwartz alumni. I would like to ask these men and women, please stand and be recognized. Schwartz Fellows. You know, I'm going to go off script for a second. The truth is that while we're launching the Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship, Jim Schwartz has been passionate about entrepreneurship, about this institution. In fact, the Schwartz Fellows are a great example of how he has been giving and contributing to the intellectual development of this community and supporting our entrepreneurs. Back to the script. And of course, another vital experiential learning is Project Olympus, the incubator of the Swartz Center that Lenore Blum founded in 2007 and has since helped over 130 companies get off ground. Taken together, these programs, resources, and opportunities work cohesively to accelerate promising research and nurture groundbreaking ideas at their inception. The Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship will ensure that the CMU's strength in entrepreneurship, technology transfer, and economic development continues to provide a vital bridge from research to practice. Jim, I want to thank you again, once again, for your incredible generosity to and passion for this university. It is now my great pleasure to invite Dr. Subra Suresh, the 9th president of Carnegie Mellon University, to the podium. Dr. Suresh.
Thank you, Farnam. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to this wonderful event. This is a culmination of a conversation that began 3 years ago in San Francisco. And it was the first time I met Jim Schwartz, and it was an extraordinary journey. Jim, thank you from that conversation to where we are today. I would also like to start by thanking Bob Damon and Ann Powers, who are sitting there, who've been very helpful in coordinating conversations with Jim for many years. Thank you. Thank you, Ann, and thank you, Bob. Before I touch on how significant this center is, I want to echo my thanks to all of those who have contributed and worked hard to bring this Entrepreneurship Center into existence. Entrepreneurship is in the DNA of Carnegie Mellon University. Everybody knows this. But that alone may not be sufficient. How do we take the DNA, how to nurture it, how to help it, so that a broad cross-section of people all across campus, especially across disciplinary boundaries, have an opportunity to contribute and develop their entrepreneurial skills through curricular activities, through planned encounters, through serendipitous encounters, through networking opportunities, through connections. I think these are very important activities, as the video that Dave showed at the beginning tried to highlight. Going forward, the best way an entrepreneur can develop their business idea will be through Carnegie Mellon Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship. In the video, Dave also talked about the I-Core nodes around the country and trying to connect excellent activities that take place at Carnegie Mellon University with activities across the country will be another pivotal part of the Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship. In fact, we have one of the co-founders of I-Core who helped support it is on the Swartz Center Entrepreneurship Board. So we are very excited about the possibility that this external advisory board for the Entrepreneurship Center brings us. We're also confident in this activity because the Swartz Center epitomizes CMU's greatest strength, our unique interdisciplinary approach to problem solving. The center will draw CMU researchers, faculty, and students from across our campus to develop business ideas and launch startups. It will support our alumni entrepreneurs wherever they are in their careers. We very much hope that alumni and friends of Carnegie Mellon University will engage with us and will contribute ideas that will shape the future evolution of the Entrepreneurship Center. Our commitment to creating a new model for business development aligns with university priorities laid out in our strategic plan to cultivate the entrepreneurship that exists all across campus through a variety of curricular and non-curricular activities. I mentioned the strategic plan here, which is the culmination of effort by the campus community for over a year, because the strategic plan touches on various initiatives that the Swartz Center will feed into, especially the core priorities of attracting and retaining outstanding and diverse talent, enhancing the CMU experience, and building excellence across the university. This investment promises to have a transformative effect, both in nurturing the next generation of entrepreneurs and in building on the university's strengths in collaborative research and education across different academic fields and disciplines. That's the vision that Jim Swartz had in mind when we talked about the possibility of creating this wonderful center. Through his generous gift of $31 million, $10 million of which will be applied to the physical infrastructure associated with the Tepper Quad project, which we announced about 2.5 years ago, this center will have far-reaching impact beyond the programmatic activities of the university. In a way, the center is a symbol of Jim's passion and lifelong work. A co-founder of Axel in 1983, Jim is now entering his 5th decade in venture capital and has been a lead director of more than 50 successful companies. Before founding Axel, Jim was a founding partner in Adler & Company, a vice president of Citicorp Venture Capital, and served as chairman of the National Venture Capital Association, which bestowed its Lifetime Achievement Award on him in 2007. He currently serves as chairman of the Swartz Foundation and the Christian Center of Park City, director emeritus of the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Foundation, where he established the Borgen Swartz Education Endowment. He's a trustee of the Sundance Institute and San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. He is also a member of the Board of Advisors of CMU's Tepper School of Business. He's also the chair of the President's Global Advisory Council, for which, Jim, I'm enormously grateful to you. We're also grateful to, Mary and I are very grateful to you and Susan for your friendship and for your generosity. In addition to Jim's many philanthropic initiatives in education, athletics, the arts, health, and social impact programs, he is also one of CMU's leading benefactors. In addition to the center we launched today, we can thank him for the James R. Swartz Entrepreneurial Leadership Series, which provides a forum for the Carnegie Mellon University community and its entrepreneurial network partners in Pittsburgh to discuss issues central to entrepreneurial leadership, and for the James R. Swartz Entrepreneurial Fellows Initiative, which fast-tracks the careers of CMU graduate students who are passionate about entrepreneurship in the technology arena. With a record of commitment like this, it's no wonder that we are here today to again express our deepest gratitude to Jim and Susan for their ongoing dedication to Carnegie Mellon University. I would also like to add, just a few months ago, Carnegie Mellon University bestowed upon Jim an honorary doctorate degree. Congratulations, Jim. To show our appreciation, we would like to present him with a small token today. Please join me in bringing to the stage a great and abiding friend to Carnegie Mellon University, Jim Swartz, and I'll get the gift.
Thank you, Subra, for that wonderful introduction. I'm so happy to be here today for the launch of our campus for Center for Entrepreneurship. Many have made this possible, and we all have one objective: to make Carnegie Mellon University the destination of choice for the best entrepreneurs of the world. I'll go off script here 1 sec. I sat today with the Swartz Fellows, and I asked how many of them came to Carnegie Mellon because of entrepreneurship. And it was a good third of them, maybe more, that raised their hands. So I think it's a really, really important factor. Entrepreneurship is about creating value. CMU has world-class talent in exactly the right value creation disciplines of engineering, computer science, design, and business. Now we will have the additional resources and talent to enhance and mobilize our embedded entrepreneurial opportunities. While I cannot deny the catalyzing effect of my gift, this center would not have been possible without the vision of Dean Bob Damon of the Tepper School and President Subra Suresh. Thank you very much. It was their bold thinking that inspired me to join them to fulfill their vision. And a big thank you to the steering committee that worked diligently over the past year to add structure to our vision, led by Provost Farnam Jahanian, Dean of the Computer Science School, Andrew Moore, and Executive Director David Mawhinney. Thanks for your leadership and for the full committee that participated with you. Why did I do this? I've been observing the development of entrepreneurship on this campus since being offered a partnership with a little CMU-affiliated partnership back in 1972. I think I wisely declined that opportunity, but I then worked with the legendary entrepreneurship professor Jack Thorne during the 80s and 90s. I made many trips here, giving talks, classroom lectures, and always taking the pulse. I've watched these efforts grow through the years with the launch of the Don Jones Center, the success of the McGinnis Business Plan Competition, the launch of Project Olympus, and the emergence of the Open Fields Entrepreneur Fund as an important funding source. In recent years, I've been encouraged by the emergence of a strong technical ecosystem in the Pittsburgh community, foretold by the arrival of a Microsoft campus, a Google campus, an Uber campus, an Apple campus, and others. I felt the time had finally come to take these efforts to the next level. So here we are on the verge of a new era, an era with a strong cross-disciplinary focus and faculty to match, a faculty that will continue to attract the best and brightest to world-class academic and research programs that will now be complemented by entrepreneurship programs that emphasize team building, mentorship, leadership training, networking, and strong financial resources. Importantly, funding for the center provides for a much-needed increase in entrepreneurs in residence to serve as active mentors. And we anticipate launching additional funding vehicles that will add to the successful seed programs now in place. We have numerous examples of long-term entrepreneurial success, represented well by the members of the new advisory committee announced today. These young leaders will work with the center to accelerate and to guide the next generation of entrepreneurs. Finally, we recognize that it is critically important to build bridges to the best startup ecosystems. Silicon Valley, New York, Bangalore, London, or wherever CMU alumni have a critical presence. In that spirit, I am forever grateful for the team of core Axo partners who have come here today to support me and to support CMU engaging with the strongest venture firms and development networks. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. And thank all of you for coming. Thank all of you for coming today to support this giant step for entrepreneurship. I strongly believe that 10 years from now, CMU will be a clear destination of choice for aspiring entrepreneurs. There are many challenges ahead. They are formidable, but we understand them. I'm excited to play a part in moving us forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. You have been a great friend and supporter of our entrepreneurial efforts and work here at CMU for many, many years. And we're looking forward to continuing that with you. You're a great person. We love you. I'm Lenore Blum, professor in the School of Computer Science and faculty co-director of the Swartz Center. I'd like to acknowledge my partner in crime, Jonathan Kagan, professor in the College of Engineering and faculty co-director in the Swartz Center. John, where are you? I can't see. Stand up. I'd also like to acknowledge my dean, Andrew Moore, and Kit Needham, Associate Director and Entrepreneur in Residence at our incubator, Project Olympus, and all of the Swartz Center staff that has made a lot of this possible. And a shout out to all our friends and colleagues, both on campus and in the wider community, and also especially CTEC, which is our tech transfer office, our colleagues there. We couldn't do what we do without you. And now a special acknowledgement to Lathan and Watkins, which has generously supported all of our Launch CMU events. We've had 8 so far. They're both here. We do them once in Pittsburgh and so far once in Silicon Valley. It's my very great pleasure to thank and introduce Ben Potter, partner at Latham & Watkins. Ben, are you here? Come up. Ben is a Yale graduate and received his MBA and law degree at Michigan, University of Michigan. In Latham & Watkins, he represents emerging companies, which is very important for us, so thank you for your help here. Today, he led faculty workshops on legal needs of startups, and Latham & Watkins always has workshops for our faculty in conjunction with Launch CMU, so that's part of our educational effort to work with faculty and postdocs here on campus. So with that, Ben, welcome, Ben.
Thank you, Lenore. Hello, everyone. Indeed, my name is Ben Potter. I'm a partner at the Emerging Companies practice at Latham in Silicon Valley, California, and I'm the co-chair of our Internet and Digital Growth practice. I am very grateful to say it's our 4th year sponsoring the Launch CMU event here in Pittsburgh, and it's a special honor to be here, in particular, to be here for the launch of the Swartz Center and to hear Mr. Swartz's inspiring words. The relationship that the lawyers at our firm have developed over the years with the CMU ecosystem and the modest role we play in helping to cultivate and enable value creation by the CMU startup companies that we work with, such as Recaptcha, Duolingo, Solvi, XB, LumiShield, and others, are things that we at Latham in Silicon Valley and our other offices are incredibly excited and energized about. I'd like to give 4 quick thank yous. First, a huge thank you to the dynamic and irrepressible CMU team for hosting us here in Pittsburgh. As Lenore mentioned, we had an opportunity to speak with several of you this morning during our lectures, and that was a thrill for us. Second, thank you to our co-sponsor, Oracle, and of course to Mr. Swartz for his incredible, magnanimous gift and vision. Third, to our old friends Dave and Lenore and our new friend John at the CMU Center for their leadership in creating and growing and sustaining this program. Without any of them, we would not be standing here today. And fourth, of course, thank you for all the talented and determined people in the room who are building products and companies that we all want to learn about and benefit from. We're looking forward to a tremendous rest of the program. Thank you.
Now for the rest, but let me say a few words. A number of years ago, while on a flight to San Francisco to speak to our Bay Area alumni about Project Olympus, I had an epiphany. What could I say about Project Olympus, our startup incubator in Pittsburgh, to the experts in Silicon Valley? It would be like bringing coals to Newcastle. What to do? And then the epiphany. I realized that while we could learn a lot from Silicon Valley, and we do, it was Pittsburgh that was the model for cities across the country that were reinventing themselves. And our university, located in the midst of a metropolitan area, was a model for the role the research university can play in helping create an economy that was vital, sustainable, and inclusive, one that works for all. The flurry of recent summit activity, both here at Carnegie Mellon and in our city, has been testament to that fact. As you've heard, there's include the President Obama's Frontier Summit held at Carnegie Mellon 2 weeks ago, the U.S. Conference of Mayors events, and the P4 Summit focusing on people, planet, place, and performance last week at the David Lawrence Convention Center, as well as the upcoming National League of Cities annual summit. Jim Swartz's gift to Carnegie Mellon and the promise of the Swartz Center will ensure that our university will have an ever-increasing positive impact on our cities and our society at large. It is fitting that this launch CMU, in conjunction with the inauguration of the new center, is focused on smart cities. So with that, I'd like to, we have a stellar cast today, and beginning with Jim Garrett, Thomas Lord Professor of Civil and Environmental Engineering and Dean of the College of Engineering, who will set the stage for the Smart City Showcase. Jim will talk about Metro 21, a partnership between Carnegie Mellon, the City of Pittsburgh, and Allegheny County, formed to utilize university resources to improve quality of life in Pittsburgh region. Jim will then introduce the other speakers. It is my great pleasure to present to you Dean James Garrett.
Thank you, Lenore. Good afternoon, and let me add my welcome to this Launch CMU event, and especially my thanks to Jim Swartz. Imagine a city where traffic is minimized because both vehicles and traffic controls are autonomous and communicating with each other. Water main breaks, like the one you see here on the screen, are sensed before they happen, saving significant amounts of money and avoiding extensive collateral damage. Data is able to be collected about each citizen's individual environmental conditions so that they can make safer and healthier decisions. Citizens are able to access needed city services from their phones in real time as they move about the city. And citizens are assisted by their office buildings, by their stores, by their homes to behave more sustainably. Imagine a city that is much more efficient, more sustainable, and provides an excellent quality of life to all of its citizens. At Carnegie Mellon University, we've recently launched a new research, development, and deployment initiative in the area of smart cities called Metro 21 that was jointly founded by the College of Engineering and the Heinz College. Metro 21 practices what CMU is well known for, solving real city problems through cutting-edge research, going beyond research and development to deployment, so as to give faculty and students interested in taking their ideas to market the understanding and feedback they need to have a true societal impact. Metro 21, led by ECE Professor Rajkumar and Heinz Professor Rick Stafford, is a multidisciplinary cooperation among a number of researchers, centers, institutes from 5 different colleges at Carnegie Mellon, all working in the smart city space. The City of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County have signed an MOU with the Metro 21 initiative and have been excellent partners in allowing the use of the city and county as testbeds. Last fall, Carnegie Mellon and the city helped the White House to establish a national Metro Lab network of 40-plus teams of cities and their local research universities, all working on smart cities initiatives. And CMU was tapped to manage this nationwide network. One Metro 21 project, a cooperation between the Smart Infrastructure Institute and the Robotics Institute, was featured at the recently held White House Frontiers Conference, which we heard several times talked about previously, and was presented as a demo to President Barack Obama, as shown here in the image. The project is developing an autonomous quadcopter carrying a laser scanner and high-resolution camera for inspection of buildings, bridges, and disaster sites. The next 5 companies that we'll hear about today commercialize exciting smart cities technology and all have a relationship to Metro 21. Poor air quality is a serious global health problem affecting billions of people every day, many in large megacities. The SPEC, a product of Airviz, detects fine particulate matter in indoor environments and informs occupants about changes and trends in particle concentration. We'll hear more about the SPEC from Airviz CEO and CMU professor Illah Nourbakhsh. Operating facilities or buildings efficiently is difficult due to the complexity of buildings and the limited access to information. Lean FM Technologies is a lifecycle software solution for economic, proactive, and intelligent facilities management, leveraging building information modeling technology and cloud computing technology. We'll hear more about Lean FM from its co-founder and CEE professor, Borju Akunja. SureTrack, a product of Rapid Flow Technologies, combines AI technology
with traffic flow theory to optimize traffic flow second by second, thus reducing energy use, emissions, delays, and traveler frustration. We'll hear more about SureTrack from Rapid Flow CEO Greg Barlow. Covey allows parents to find nearby groups of other parents with similar interests and parenting styles, allowing them to share experiences and ask each other parenting questions. We'll hear more about Covey from CEO and co-founder Vanessa Jameson. And finally, RoBotany is transforming modern indoor agriculture with automated robotics and software analytics. We'll hear more about RoBotany from its CEO, Austin Webb. And now, we'll hear from all 5 of these leaders of these companies that I've just mentioned. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I wear 2 hats, one CMU professor and one as chairman and CEO of this company, Airviz. And I want to use those 2 hats to tell you a story about how perfect Carnegie Mellon is because of its interdisciplinary nature in enabling a company like this to come to exist. Now, we all know that we would love, there's the first slide. We all know that we would love Pittsburgh to look like this. And it does, but unfortunately, 280 days out of the year, that same shot is this. That's a shame. And as we studied this problem, because we were informed by Heinz Endowments and because we reached out to mechanical engineering and the Center for Air, Climate, and Energy, we learned more than you can learn in just about any other university about the air loading that we face and about the health effects that it has on our children and our adults and elderly population in Pittsburgh. And then, of course, you can extrapolate the same story to India, to China, and elsewhere. We worked for years developing an air quality sensor, but then it was the team at CTEC, Bob Wooldridge and Company, who enabled us not just to spin out the company, but to create the ideal strategic investment deal with Infosys, and to create a cross-licensing deal where we can actually keep working on research inside the laboratory at Carnegie Mellon and work at the company, and together basically redefine what it means to be able to visualize air quality at a massive scale. And that's real cross-disciplinary exercises. So we invent. And once you've invented a new sensor, the question is it really helping people? Do children who have a sensor like this in their home help their little sibling have less asthma attacks? How do you answer a question like that? Well, that's easy. You go to social and decision sciences right here at Carnegie Mellon, and you work with social and decision sciences to do ethnographic observations of how children are actually empowered by the conversation, by the technology. And we did that. And again, crossing yet another boundary at Carnegie Mellon, we benefit from all of the inbuilt experience here, in that case in Dietrich College. And just to take that point all the way out, we can work with schools in Utah. Salt Lake City has serious inversion problems, as anybody who skis knows when they drive back down to Salt Lake City. And the challenge there is, how do you change people's behavior? But the schools in Salt Lake City actually did something remarkable for us. They took these sensors and put them in classrooms facing the driveway where parents pick up their kids at 3 o'clock. And then the second graders went out and actually counted how many cars idle. And then the kids, the second graders, designed an anti-idling pledge form, went home, called family meetings, and lectured their parents on idling. Then the kids pushed the pledge form on their parents, brought it back to school, measured how many cars were idling now. The numbers went down precipitously, by the way. Measured the air quality in the classrooms. The numbers got better, massively, by the way. And then grad students came in from the local university and did p-tests and showed the correlation statistically. And they published it. Second graders. That happens because you have a university mentality, and you care about empowerment, and because you enable other universities to be able to benefit from exactly the same DNA that comes out of Carnegie Mellon. Now, the real problem with this picture and the depressing thing about Pittsburgh is that, in fact, bad air is in the bottom of the valleys. But who lives in the bottom of the valleys? Low socioeconomic status groups, people who can't afford a $200 sensor that we make. So how do you cause social good when health inequality is a social problem? And that's an interesting question to answer. So today, the spec is made not offshore, not somewhere that minimizes cost. The spec is made here. Its injection molding and hard tooling is done in Pittsburgh. The assembly is done in South Oakland, an area in Pittsburgh with the highest unemployment in this entire region. So all of the benefits socially come to Pittsburgh. At the same time, the people who can't afford it don't have to buy it. Working with Carnegie Mellon University, we've put the spec in 100 libraries nationwide. They've barcoded it just like a book. And what this means is that any library patron anywhere who can't afford to buy it can go check one out completely for free, use it, and understand why they're getting asthma attacks at certain times of the day. So this is a process that works because the university and the company work together to understand how to empower communities through completely novel techniques for technology dissemination. So I'm going to end with this picture because the light shines back on the university, and that's really exciting for me. We've done so much building of awareness around particulate matter across Pittsburgh and now internationally, that in turn, Pittsburghers have said, we want a voice. We want to talk about when it smells bad in Pittsburgh. So just a week ago, Carnegie Mellon Create Lab, working with Airviz, launched Smell Pittsburgh, which is an app that allows everybody in Pittsburgh to actually annotate in real time when it stinks and why. And by hashing that together with prevailing wind patterns and industry outputs and federal air sensors, we're able to build a powerful narrative that helps the health department actually crack down on fence line boundaries and on problems of pollution. And that's the kind of thing we can now spread internationally in every town you think of. So that's a story of interdisciplinary evolution and innovation. It's only possible at Carnegie Mellon. So this is why I will always be here innovating and spinning companies out and then working right back with the university. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everybody. I'm really excited to give an overview of our company called LeanFM Technologies, which just got formed in early 2016. And our goal is we focus on the facility management and try to make the facility management much more efficient through big data analytics and visualization. By the way, I'm a faculty member in Civil and Environmental Engineering Department, and I'm also a CIO of this company. So when you think about facility management, it can be wrapped into one word, one sentence. It's the practice of managing real estate properties, operations, and maintenance, and capital investments. On a daily basis, facility managers struggle with seemingly an easy task, which is keeping the costs down and keep everything working, because if things are not working, the occupants, all of you get really disappointed, and there are a lot of cost implications associated with it. This is certainly easier said than done. When we look at the operations and maintenance, we see two major issues. So one is that we spend a lot of time searching for information when something breaks down, and typically we don't do anything until something breaks down because we're mostly in a reactive mode because of the backlog that we have in our work orders. So something that needs to take 24 hours to respond, an emergency maintenance operation can typically take up to six days for us. So underlying theme on these problems is the fact that we have information bottlenecks in facility operations and management. And when you add both the search for information and the reactive maintenance tasks, it adds up to hundreds of billions of dollars wasted just in North America alone for not being able to manage our facilities effectively. So with that in mind, we have created the spin-off company called LeanFM, and to turn the facility management to more efficient and effective. So the goal is to empower the facility managers with all the information that they can get, but not just the information, but also the insights that they can gather from the information so that they can be much more effective and efficient in their planning. So how does it work? So in the current situation, we have lots and lots of databases during facility operations, and they're all fragmented. So one thing that we do is through the algorithms that we created data integration. So we integrate the data from all these data sources. It looks better than the first version. It's integrated, but there are a lot of issues with the quality of the data, and you still see a lot of holes in our understanding of what the facility should look like. So we then enrich this data, again, through the NSF SBIR grant that we received. We developed algorithms that enriches this data set, so we get a complete picture. Then the challenge becomes how do you convey to the facility owners and operators. We have a data visualization platform that put things into context in a building information model, and then we can drive actionable insights to suggest that. So here's a quick example. So in this current way of doing work, you typically facility engineer or manager gets a work order description, says there's a ceiling leak in my room. Well, the only actionable thing that you can do with this information to go and check it. And that's what we do, which results in hours of time being wasted. So instead, with this technology, we're able to analyze this and tell you what the cause is. It's not the ceiling, it's actually the duct running the ceiling that is leaking. This is a repeated work. Somebody was there before, so you might want to think about sending somebody else. And this is a high priority work for you because it's the space that serves the expensive equipment. So through that, we can contextualize the data and provide insights in a visual form, which normally would take a couple hours for you, for a facility operator to figure out. Now it's reduced to a few minutes. So we're fairly small. We just started, as I mentioned. So we started through an NSF SBIR grant, and it was me, my student, and we have the Udi as the CEO, and my former student, by the way. He's also a faculty member here. And we're now in the search for raising additional funding and launching pilot studies. So looking forward to hearing from you in the reception for your feedback. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. This is a big, full room. It's come a long way in the history of Launch CMU. So at Rapid Flow Technologies, we're building intelligent transportation technology for smart cities because the world's urbanizing. By 2030, 60% of the world's population will live in cities. And that's because the density of cities provides amazing economic and cultural opportunities and a path to a more sustainable future. And transportation has a huge effect on the way that cities work, from the quality of life, equity of opportunity, and economic growth. And the street grid and the intersection are at the heart of the way that the city works, providing a resilient transportation network where all modes of travel can come together. When intersections work well, cities thrive. But what happens when intersections don't work well? Congestion, caused often by poorly operated traffic signals that use technology and control schemes that are really decades, if not 100 years old. And this leads to over-reliance on highways, which leads to sprawl, reducing the density that makes cities work well. And this leads to pollution, both from the vehicles idling at congested intersections and from others driving excessive distances, having to live far away from the city. At Rapid Flow, we're building technology for the future of the intersection to reduce congestion and make cities work better. SureTrack traffic control and Farnam urban analytics. SureTrack is smarter intersections today, intelligent traffic signal control for urban road networks. It was originally built here in the Robotics Institute at Carnegie Mellon, and we spun it out last year. And SureTrack technology combines artificial intelligence and traffic theory for smart traffic signals that optimize traffic flows in real time. SureTrack's already installed at 50 intersections in Pittsburgh and has been running at some for 4 years. And when U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Anthony Fox was here 2 weeks ago for the Frontiers Conference, he announced an $11 million grant to expand SureTrack to another 150 intersections over the next 3 years, with additional funding coming from PennDOT and the city of Pittsburgh. SureTrack has been field-proven over the past 4 years under extremely challenging urban conditions. It works by optimizing intersection operations second by second for the actual traffic on the road, not some historical pattern, reducing the time you spend waiting at a traffic signal by 40%. SureTrack's designed to support sustainable development and quality of life, so we have 20% lower emissions than you would see in a conventional signal system. And our approach means that traffic is coordinated to minimize delay over a network, not over one road in one direction. And this means that we see 30% fewer stops. SureTrack also optimizes for everybody on the road, not just the cars, but pedestrians, transit, bicycles, and freight. And because SureTrack is a fully decentralized system, moving computing power to the intersection, it becomes the gateway to real-time urban information. we're focusing now on applications for connected and autonomous vehicles, as well as sensor networks that support rich urban transportation analytics. SureTrack's built really for the future of connected and autonomous transportation. We can do things like use real-time location information from buses to predict stop lengths and then improve our optimization to move both transit faster and all traffic more efficiently. If connected vehicles send their routes to SureTrack, their delay can be reduced 25 to 30%, with really no downside to other travelers. As more vehicles send SureTrack their routes, even the non-connected vehicles get some benefit, with delay being reduced up to 10%. Our Phanon sensor networks provide rich data on urban transportation using dense, ubiquitous networks of low-cost sensors. And using the data from these sensors, we can produce fine-grained, real-time information about travel times, congestion, and even incident detection. Phanon is actually the only system for automated measurement of cruising for parking, which is one of the major causes of urban congestion. Over the summer, we deployed our first permanent network of Phanon sensors in Washington, D.C. for the Park DC project, and we just started a Phase 2 Small Business Innovation and Research grant to continue the development of this technology. We have a great team working on this problem, and we're growing. So if you want to help change transportation for smarter cities, we'd like to talk to you afterwards. Thanks.
Hi there, everybody. I'm a proud graduate of the School of Computer Science here at CMU, and now I'm the co-founder and CEO of Covey. Covey is a social support system for new and expecting parents. There are more than 4 million babies that are born in the US every single year. 15,000 of them or so are right here in Pittsburgh. And for the parents of those babies, there is no more significant factor than the social support that they receive. So let me explain a little bit about what I mean here. So for example, if you take breastfeeding, this is baby's first food. The CDC recommends breastfeeding for 6 months after a baby is born. 98% of new moms are physiologically capable of breastfeeding for that full 6 months, but only 20% actually do. And one of the leading indicators of what can help new moms breastfeed longer is the social support system that they have. Then take postpartum depression. This is a disease that has some potentially very serious outcomes that affects 20% of new moms. So for postpartum depression, social support not only acts as a therapy, but it also is a preventative measure that you can take. So a pregnant mom who has a strong social support system is less likely to develop postpartum depression. And then third, and I think most interestingly, recent studies have shown that the social support system of parents actually can influence babies' brain development. So a strong social support system really helps babies' brain development, which is particularly interesting because of all of the recent studies that around the importance of brain development in the first years of life. So clearly this is something that is really important, so I just want to talk a little bit about why it's hard. So I'm assuming that most of the people in this room have at some point moved to a new city, and when you do that, you have to build up your network that's in this city. One of the reasons that you do that is because you're probably constantly looking for recommendations. You need, a new barber, you need a new doctor, you want to know where to go out to eat, what things are the best to do. When you have a kid, no matter how long you've been living in a city, you have to go through that same process again. So it's not just what are the best restaurants, it's what are the best restaurants that are kid-friendly, and where are the changing tables, where are the deals on diapers, where are the fun, family-friendly activities around. And so developing that information is actually really tough at a time where you're also trying to adjust to, raising a human and all of the things that entails. So, the connections with other parents who have kids who are the same age is incredibly useful during that time, but 82% of parents say that developing those connections is challenging. And this is despite the fact that 79% are using social media on their phones every single day in order to try and develop those kinds of connections. So what we're doing at Covey is creating a one-stop shop for all of these things, for recommendations that are parent-centric for local businesses nearby, for a searchable interface for other parents who have similar interests and kids the same age, and discussion forums so that you can connect with other parents around particular topics. Covey is providing parents with the tools that they need to develop and grow their social support system, which in turn relieves some of the stress and anxiety that's associated with the new parent time period, and it improves their overall health. So we're going city by city to roll out our local experience. We started in our top market, which is LA, and we're rolling out across the country. We've also unsolicited gotten some international interest. So birth center administrators in Haiti and Peru have been reaching out because they're also looking for opportunities to help build up social support for their new parents, improve conditions for new parents, and connect them to the local resources that are available. So we're always looking to develop partnerships with like-minded businesses, organizations, bloggers, you name it. So if you're interested at all in connecting, then please come find me. Thank you.
Hey everyone, it's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Webb, CEO and co-founder of RoBotany. RoBotany, we are an indoor vertical farming company using automated robotics and software analytics to vastly improve the way we can grow food indoors and to transform modern agriculture. So with vertical farming, you can grow plants indoors, plant them on shelves, stack those shelves on top of one another, go 30 feet plus higher in the air, giving you superior crop density as compared to growing crops on a 2D square foot basis on one level playing field. In addition, you can get optimal growing conditions 24/7, 365 because you can control the environment the entire time. So there's no floods, there's no droughts, there's no winter, which is really important here in Pittsburgh. And you can do all those things where in 2050 there's going to be 10 billion people and estimated 80% of those folks are going to live in urban cities. You can build these within city limits and be hyper fresh and hyper local. And you can do all of that while using 95% plus less water, avoiding topsoil degradation, and avoiding runoff. Now, vertical farms are the future, but they do have a few key problems. Namely, they are very inefficient. Right now, very manual and labor-intensive processes require workers to go and grab plant trays one by one, up 30 feet in the air on ladders and scissor lifts. And on top of this, that requires these huge aisleways, as you see behind me, which means that on average, all the vertical farms we visited and spoken to, on average, they lose over half of their production space, which is really critical considering the verticality compounds the use of space. And on top of all that, he's using pen and paper, right? That's not the way we want to do it today in terms of having data analytics and intelligence. So what we're doing at RoBotany is we've created a holistic solution that really creates a new workflow and a new standard. We have automated robots that bring plants to the worker, allows for human-free grow rooms, pump extra CO2 in there, shave off more days off of the growing cycle. That allows us to have increase in labor efficiency, have workers do what they should be doing instead of going up and leaning on one leg really high in the air. Also allows us to bring those racks closer together, right? No longer have those wide aisleways and therefore increase crop output. And our software behind that robotic system, which is sort of the central brain to our solution, allows us to not just collect data and monitor the farm real time, which is critically important, but it also allows us to take that data and analyze it so that we can optimize the way we grow every single plant. So what's the optimal recipe for cilantro? What's the optimal recipe for you name it, right? We're able to do that, find that based on what is the light spectrum, light schedules, nutrient mix we use, humidity, air temperature, misting schedules, you name it. And once we find that, then we put it into that recipe in and do the exact same thing every single time because, again, we have no variability. So I'd like to show a video of our technology. Right there you see is our robot. We have robots on both sides. This is a rendering of our miniature farm that we built in the front of Project Olympus. Instead of a conference table, we're now growing over 1 pound a day with this miniature prototype. The white trays, rectangles represent our trays. We move those and push those trays based on our workflow. And you can imagine a conveyor system, track system on the bottom, where after we take a picture, we move that plant tray out of the grow room into the rest of our farm. We do automated nutrient mixing. We use all red and blue spectrum in terms of that's the most efficient for plants. Right now we're growing baby spinach, cilantro, leafy greens, microgreen mixes, etc. And we look to leverage our technology to do diversified crops and grow more higher caloric crops in the future. And for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and skip this. But one important thing to note is that we don't have purple plants. When I pull these out in just a minute, you're going to see that they're very, very green, which is, really important. So you don't think that the new thing in the future is going to eat purple greens. So, for the sake of time, I'm going to try to go a little quickly, but what this means is as a farm operator, right, leveraging our technology and our new workflow to take value throughout the value chain, we can produce over 180 times yields per 2D square foot compared to traditional farms. And that's a lot more compared to sort of the 100 times that sort of current vertical farms are doing with those problem operations as we spoke of. And we can do all of this with higher margins. And where we're starting is the produce market. It's what we're growing very well and very easy, and they're also very high-value crops. This market will continue to grow and be a larger addressable market for us as we diversify crops. There's also a huge medicinal plant opportunity that includes cannabis, that includes Artemisia annua, which is synthesized into artemisinin for malaria. Really important high-impact crops that we're able to grow and do it more efficiently. So what we're looking to do over time is to launch our first produce farm here in Pittsburgh in 2017. Look to do a 10,000 square foot facility, and with that we can do 1,000 pounds of greens per day right here in the city limits. Then we will look to expand that geographically throughout North America and then throughout the world. We've already gotten a lot of calls from China and Russia actually. And then we look to diversify our crops and incorporate further innovations as we automate the entire workflow. And we have a lot of opportunities for vertical integration, both upward and downward in the future. Over the next 12 months, how we get there, we're going to take the seed funding that we received last month. We're going to build a version 2 of what you saw up there. This validates our technology at scale and also allows us to complete a lot of pre-sales. We're getting a ton of interest in folks wanting our produce now and having cilantro out of Pittsburgh in January instead of Mexico. And at the same time, we're going to continue our grow testing, which is really important. And how we're going to do that is we have a fantastic team. It is such a pleasure to work with Austin, Brack, and Danny. They are the smartest engineers I've ever met. And so together we have the business, the robotics, the operations, and the software experience to do that new holistic solution we've created. And as you saw in the video, while we are techies, we do have some green thumbs, so we can grow. Thanks to Robotics Hub, who's our venture capital firm that gave us seed funding last month. And also I want to give a special shout out to Dave Moeni for all of his advice on a daily basis. It's really wonderful to have the Swartz Center behind us. And so with that, I just want to thank you for listening. And just remember, when it comes to smart cities and the future of modern agriculture, vertical farming is the future, and RoBotany is the future of vertical farming. Thank you.
Wow, we have some really cool stuff here, don't we, huh? Thank you to all of our speakers today. Our speakers and 25 other companies will be on display in exhibits across the hallway to your left. And in the back, we're going to have food and drink for everybody. But before we go, I'd just like everybody to give one more round of applause to Jim Swartz. What amazing gift he's given to the university to take us into the future. I'd also like to thank Latham and Watkins and Norco again, and also our team, Melanie, Sonia, Clea, Aaron, Kit, Lenore, John. Everybody's been working their tails off to make this a great event and to make Carnegie Mellon the best entrepreneurship university in the world. So thank you. Please have a great time. We have drinks and food for the next hour and a half. Have a good night.